Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christie, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy, the recap. This week, we are recapping Laurie Maddalena. And Laurie is an executive coach who had some really brilliant things to say. A couple that I want to lean into are, in order to be successful, you have to shift from fixing to facilitating. I think that that's a huge recognition that we try to control a lot of things that are without control or out of our control. And instead, we should really be thinking about facilitating shift, change, success, instead of trying to control it, right? Because we really can't. And that's something that I think we spend a lot of extra energy on that we shouldn't. Another thing that she said is leaders really don't get any guidance. And if you think about that often, leaders are the best salesman that you have on your team who then gets promoted to sales manager, or the best widget maker on your team who gets promoted to captain of all widget makers. Then we just ask them to lead. And unfortunately, some people innately are really good at it, but most aren't. So we feel that pressure from those people. You have to perform. Or often what I see happen is that when people are insecure in that leadership role, they approach things from that insecurity and they tend to make people feel small and maybe even micromanaged. And I don't think that's necessary. And I also don't think it's done on purpose. But what are we going to do about it? Is it worth fixing? I would argue, yes, it is most definitely worth fixing. And I know that Laurie would agree with me, and Laurie would tell us that we need to be thoughtful about fixing the fact that we don't know what we're doing in those leadership roles, and that if we take the time to figure it out, we will be more successful. So this podcast is called Productive Joy. It is surrounded by intentionally creating spaces where productive joy can be created. And it's designed for leaders because leaders set the tone for everybody else. And I would argue that every single person listening right now is a leader. I don't care what your title is. Some of you hold really high titles, and for you, your paycheck depends on whether or not you can lead people well. But every one of you is a leader. If you are staying home with your babies, you are leading them. If you are working as a whatever, fill in the blank. If you are an employee of somebody else, you're a leader. If you work in your church, if you coach Little League, all of those things are leadership positions. And the lessons that I've been learning on productive joy are relevant in every one of those spaces. So I think what I'd like to challenge you with today on this recap episode is, what are you doing to make sure that you're leading well, that you're going in a direction worth following, that you are the type of human that other people can grow around instead of feeling stuck? It's been an interesting year in education, in life. I know more people right now looking for jobs than I think have them. That is a new space that we've not been in as a society before, and people are feeling it. And those that are in leadership positions with titles need to lean into that. They need to take care of the humans that they have. Those that are looking for those jobs need to lean into that and need to become the kind of leaders within their homes, within their interviews, within their spaces that allow for others to follow. Productive joy is a choice. And in our current situation with things not looking the way they've always looked, we're going to have to look for that productive joy. And in fact, we're going to probably need to create it in spaces where it doesn't exist. And I would love to tell you that that's easy. And it's not, but it is simple, right? If you make people feel valued and appreciated, and you give them a voice, and you let them use that voice, and you leverage their talents in the spaces you're in, that's fun, right? That's my definition of fun. And fun and productive joy are not the same, but one leads to another, right? When you think about fun are things you repeat, but people quit things that aren't fun. So maybe those people that are looking for jobs quit the one they had before. And it wasn't because they wanted to, it was because they felt they had to. But people don't quit jobs, people quit people. And people quit when things aren't fun. So I'm going to challenge you today. I am always challenging you to create more productive joy, but I want you to start with the fun. What can you do today that will bring a smile to somebody else's face? What can you do today that is, quote, fun? You get your own definition of fun. If you've listened to this podcast for any amount of time, you know I always ask my guests, and it's fun to hear their answers. Use that word again. But it's entertaining because everybody has a different definition of fun too. But like I said, the definition that I think really sticks is the one where people feel valued, where people are able to use their voice and speak up, and where people are able to use their talents. So can you create a fun space? Can you make it fun to be where you are? Can you design situations where people do feel heard? Because I believe you can. And I do know some really smart people who can help you with that. Intentionality Group does exactly this for organizations. They don't just make it fun. They actually make it safe, logical, fun, and memorable. They work with you to create spaces where human interactions are a priority and not an afterthought. Because I've been in many meetings where I left feeling tense and stressed and, oh my gosh, I need to do all of these things. And then I got asked to do exactly the same thing by a different type of leader. And I'm like, I cannot wait to run through a wall for this person. That's a people thing. That's not a work thing. But I think we make it a work thing. I'm being asked too much, asked to do too much. I'm being asked to perform too much. Are you? Or is it more about how you're being asked? Because I have most definitely worked for people who I would have run through walls for. And they only had to give me a hint of an idea of what they needed from me, and I was on it. And I have been in other roles where I thought, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound fun. And it's the same exact task, right? So today, I want to challenge you to be the kind of leader, whether you're leading your family, you're leading your workforce, you're leading your entire organization. I want you to be the kind of leader who people would run through walls for. And the way you do that is by putting the humans first. Go back and listen to a few episodes. My goodness, have we had some genius people on here who have talked about how to put the humans first. Kyle McDowell was one that just recently posted, I think it was right at the beginning of April, and he talked about the power of we and recognizing that no organization is a me, it's always a we. That's fun, right? Getting people involved is what allows people to take ownership. So be the kind of leader that others would run through walls for. And if you're not, reach out to us and let us help. Not claiming to have a corner on the market or all of the answers, but we do have some tried and true ways that you can create the kind of environment where people feel empowered. And that's what makes them run through walls. So today, I need you to take a nugget of wisdom, and I don't know what that nugget will be. Maybe you need to go back and listen to Laurie's whole episode, or maybe you just need to give us a call or an email, reach out, Christie, Christie, at intentionalitygroup.com, and just say, hey, I need to get my people to want to run through walls, and I'm not doing that right now. Need some help. Or I have this really great idea and I'm not sure how to execute it because I need better human interactions. We can help. So today, I need you to grab onto that thing, whatever it is, and I need you to do the thing I ask every week, and that's to figure out a way to turn fun into action.